Hello there, guys. Welcome back to my channel for where I am confused because I literally rushed and pressed live too soon before I finished tweeting my tweet about the actual game, putting the link out there so people can actually see it and click it from Twitter. So I'm about to be done with that. So I'm just pressing send on that. By the way, guys, if you don't follow me on Twitter, head over there at Laos1507 and follow me there. That would be massively appreciated. But welcome to my live reaction and player ratings live stream following Chelsea to KAA. I'm not quite sure what that exactly stands for, but KAA Gent in our first UEFA Conference League game ever. And as you can see, I'm here by myself again. I decided last week and I had a good time with you guys in the chat. So I'm like, post-match, I'm going to do my streams for a while at least, unless I can easily find two very good guests, then obviously I might change it. But, at least for now, go to to essentially do the post-match reactions by myself so I can be more interactive with you people in the chat. We had Lienzo saying we'll loan Chalobah out to keep Badiashile. Yeah, he says Lienzo, Veiga, man of the match. I 100% agree. 100% agree. What a performance from him. Great win, positive vibes, onwards and upwards. I couldn't agree more. And JC says the Bermuda Triangle of defenders, Badiashile, Tosin, and Disasi. Yeah, didn't go that great, did it? Didn't go that great. I mean, I'm not really sure how much at fault Tosin was in particular. Let me just bring up something on screen so we can look at other things than just my face in huge. Let me bring that one up. We do also have the Conference League backgrounds, which is just took over from Lewis because he was using that today. Badiashile cost us 2 goals today. Would you say Badiashile was alone at fault for the first goal that we conceded? We'll talk about it. We'll get into it. Do not worry about it. JC says Mudryk showed some potential again. Love to see it. Yep, he was good today. Maybe not phenomenal, maybe not the best game in his life, but a good game. A good game with some positives, which I do enjoy. Jesus is love, says Chelsea is back. And I mean, if Jesus says it, he must have. Do you know what I mean? Badiashile is the Bakayoko of centre backs. I mean, yeah, I don't really know. I don't really know if I fully agree with that. But yeah, he wasn't great, was it? It wasn't great. Not good to concede against these Wi-Fi password teams. No, I think you're doing a bit harshly there on Gent. Gent have been in the Champions League. Gent are a good team. Like, you could see them today. Like, they're not that bad. Gent are not that much worse of a team than Nottingham Forest are, who we will play on the weekend. Obviously, they are worse, but they're not that much worse. This was our most difficult, on paper, most difficult game in the Conference League. They were one of our opponents from pot 1. Gent, obviously, we played them at home, so that makes it a little bit easier. I think Panathinaikos away would probably be the most difficult alongside the one against Astana, purely because it's so far away. But yeah, I still agree with your point in principle that we need to stop conceding goals, because as much as it's great to score 4 goals, we now conceded 2 goals in back-to-back games. So, that is that. Adam says, Veiga, fantastic, made Mudryk success his personal mission, literally. But hey, can the other players playing instead of Veiga usually make it their mission? Because it worked. Romani says Mudryk showed signs of improvement. Lack of spotlight will continue to help him grow. I agree with that. I agree because he doesn't at the moment have the pressure to perform to save us, or I don't know, be the big star, whatever, in the main team in the Premier League, because Sancho kind of has that spot at left wing kind of nailed on anyway. He has less pressure, but he still knows he's going to start these Conference League games almost no matter what. So yeah, not that much pressure, but still game time against slightly lesser opponents. So I think this is good, and hopefully he can, take that even further and become even better. Adam also says, Badiashile is a spy. Maybe that Veiga header. Oh my God, mate. Veiga, I love him. I love him so much. He's one of my favorite players already. Like, I love everything about the guy. Remember that press conference from him a few weeks ago when he was like, how do you feel as a Chelsea player? And he was just like, just grateful, to be honest. I'm like, yes. That's what we would all feel if we played for Chelsea. We just sit there and he says, I just feel grateful every day waking up knowing that I'm going to wear this shirt. And I'm like, yes, mate, that's exactly it. Do you know what I mean? JC says, also, can we acknowledge how hardworking Neto and Felix are off the ball? For Neto, 1,000%. I didn't necessarily notice that maybe quite as much for João Felix, but he still worked. João Felix had a bit of an unlucky day. I think a lot of people will say João Felix was bad today, but I don't really necessarily agree with that. I just think he was more unlucky than he was bad, is what I would say anyway. As you can tell, I'm here by myself, so sometimes you need to bear with me for half a second as I take a sip of water, get something up on my laptop or on my computer to show you guys, because let me bring it up on FODMOB as well. I guess we go to the lineup first, shall we, guys? Because the lineup was quite dramatic. Casadei was monster this game. See, it's interesting. Nupal saying this in our group chat. Pys was constantly saying he shits himself every time Casadei touches the ball. So it's pure perception, isn't it? I thought he was decent, to be honest. I don't think he was amazing, but I thought he was decent. Nkunku deserves to be starting somehow, to be honest. I mean, I get where you're coming from, but I'm not necessarily sure I agree on today's basis. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, he scored a good goal, a decent goal, even though realistically the goalie should do better. But it wasn't like out of this world great, was it? But to be honest, not really his fault. It just didn't really get the ball, first and foremost, is what I felt. But let me open the lineup sheet for now. I guess I could go to the Chelsea tweet. You know what? Let me actually go to the Chelsea tweet. Let me quickly find the Chelsea tweet. I'll open that up in a second. Obviously, you can already see the lineup there. That was the way we lined up on the ball. Now, you can make a case that maybe it was more of a 3-3-4 than it was a 3-2-5-1 or a 3-2-4-1, sorry. Up for debate, I suppose. I guess if we get a moment, we can look at the average positioning if we want to. Although in these kind of games, I guess they lead to a bit more now. Nkunku scored 7 goals now. He needs more minutes in the Premier. He kind of does. And it's a bit unfortunate. It is a bit unfortunate for him. But hey, at the moment, while he's not like moaning about it every week and causing issues in that sense, I guess it's not the worst thing in the world, I guess. But yeah, guys, what did you make of the lineup that we turn up with today? Because obviously, again, 11 changes, just like we made against Barrow. I don't know why I pronounced that so weirdly. Against Barrow last week in the Carabao Cup, when we changed 11 from that Premier League game beforehand to that one, the West Ham game, of course. Now, in that game against Barrow, Gusto started, who wasn't in the team today, but that's because he stayed in the team for the weekend. And we had the Sazia right back today, because obviously Fofana not available or not selected for the Conference League squad to give him some extra rest. The two nominal centre-backs in Chosin and Benoit Badiashile, Renato Veiga officially as the left-back inverting into midfield. Then you've got Cesare Casadei and Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, and then kind of a front four if you want, even though Dewsbury-Hall was kind of part of the front five anyway. Neto, João Felix, Mihailo Mudryk, and of course, Christopher Nkunku. So what did you guys make of the 11? What did you guys make of the 11? Dawson says Dewsbury-Hall improved in the second half. I agree. I've been very critical of him. I've taken the piss out of him and everything. But, I mean, he didn't start the game off well. I think the first thing he did in the game was a really poor pass. But he grew into it. Now, he had that chance in the first half where he realistically should probably do better. But hits it on his weak foot. I like how he's annoyed at himself when things don't go right. I also like how buzzing he was when he scored. I do enjoy that. Also, the shot that he had not long after his goal that the keeper saved. It's not bad. The lineup was as expected. Yeah, I would agree. Well, Connor and Ollie, if you were here yesterday for our preview stream, Connor and Ollie expected it. I didn't. I thought Gusto would start right back, and I thought Caicedo would start instead of Casadei. But we went with it and we won 4-2, so can't complain about it, can you? Bobby says, big up Laurenz, Veiga looks a good signing. 100% agree. It looks absolutely phenomenal. 14 million euros we paid for him. 14 million euros. Is Renato Veiga our new Azpilicueta? And by that, I don't mean will he be captain and be at the club for 12, 14 years. Obviously not. Well, I mean, maybe, but that is obviously way too early to judge that. But in terms of principle, assigning a player that's very useful in many positions, is young. We signed them for young, very cheap. No one really knew about them when we signed him. Could be, and he's certainly a leader. He's a character, more vocal than Aspi was, I feel like. So I'm a huge fan of Renato Veiga. We'll obviously get to his rating, but I'm a huge fan. Adam says, Nkunku is a leading goal scorer in all comps. Well, yeah, he is, but also part of that is, of course, for playing against the worst teams. Played against Servette, played against Barrow, played against Gent. Well, Jackson played against Man City and played against West Ham and played against Brighton and played against these teams. Sure, a bit different. JC says, Dewsbury-Hall ran a lot, work hard too. Yeah, no, he did. But yeah, I assume everybody was all right with this team. Let me bring up the other lineup sheet again, and I guess we just talk through it. I mean, I guess we can also bring up, actually, sorry, I know I'm changing sheets straight away. That is obviously fine, I suppose. Let me just bring up the stats over here, because at least we've for once won a game where we actually had more possession. That's quite good, isn't it? So we this time had 70% possession, a total expected goals of 1.91 against 0.98. So, we should, it wasn't a day where we created huge chance after huge chance, not like against Brighton. Do you know what I mean? But obviously, Gent set up very, very differently, a lot more defensively. But yeah, we still missed 3 big chances, so obviously could do a bit better on that. But overall, we had 20 total shots, 5 of them on target. We have 5 big chances, 70% possession. I'm not going to complain about it too much. Do you know what I mean? Passing was all right. What was our passing accuracy? 92% as a team. That's very strong. Obviously, they didn't press super hard or whatever. So, you have that. But yeah, we had 17 shots inside the box. 3 outside of it. For a second, I thought that was woodwork. No, woodwork is 0. But 5 shots on target we had. I mean, you can go into all the sorts of crazy stats if you want to. Tackles won, we won a lot less than them, but obviously because we had way more of the ball. Same point, interceptions and blocks and clearances. It's kind of natural. Duels also roughly, well, I mean, to be honest, we got closer than you'd maybe think anyway with how the possession was split up, if I'm being honest. But a good amount of successful dribbles. 13 is not bad. A 46% success rate overall. And what I'm a big fan of, 0 offsides in the whole game. That's lovely, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? 0 offsides in the whole game. I love that. Attack is a Ferrari, defense is an Alpine. Well, yeah, this is relatively accurate. Just like Gallagher, but a little worse, or a lot worse. Big up you, Ollie. Big up you. I appreciate you, my guy. Hope you're having a good evening. And a lovely celebration with your missus. Just give her my best regards. JC says, I'm going to have nightmares seeing Disati getting molested by their number 3. Yeah. I don't like that word. And now you've made me read it out. No, it's okay. I think Chelsea scouts are superb. Whichever one you exactly wanted to use. To be honest, at the moment, you can't exactly complain about them, can you? Obviously, Omarodion scoring 2 goals against Man United tonight. Obviously, the rejected or medical failed guy who we were potentially signing in the summer. Plays for Porto now. Porto played Man United in the Europa League tonight. United were 2-0 up in Porto. Went 3-2 down. Bruno got sent off. And then they got an equaliser to Harry Maguire in the end, which I'm actually a fan of because it means it keeps Eric Ten Hag in a job for longer. So please, for the love of God, United, keep Ten Hag in a job until we come to Old Trafford. Please, man. Please. Felix is very frustrating. Yeah, I mean, he is, but I think he was trying to make things happen tonight. And I think it isn't always that easy. He was also as Dewsbury-Hall only kind of grew into the game more and more and more in the second half. In the first half, João Felix had a lot of the creative responsibility on his own, obviously outside of the wide areas in terms of centrally. So yeah, Bruno got sent off again. But I'm not sure if people know, but I didn't know. He actually got his red card against Spurs. He got that overturned. So the next Pogba, excuse me, do not ever dare to insult Renato Veiga like that again. All right? Do not ever do that again. Renato Veiga, far superior. Not in talent, I'm joking. But I already back it that he could have a better career. I wouldn't even be, scared to say that. Before I bang on about the scouts, we also got Q. I mean, is Q that bad? Obviously, that against Servette, that chance that he kind of bottled was a bit tough. I mean, hey, we've got a Dewsbury-Hall fan in the house. Tim Afola. Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall is a baller. Is he a baller? No, but he did good today. Scored a nice goal. Even if it needed a little bit of help from the keeper as well, but scored a nice goal, nearly scored a nice couple of others, should have scored the first one, the last one in the second half. It's just a good effort, really, and a decent save, I suppose. But yeah, let's get to the lineup. Let's talk about the team. I don't want to be here for ever tonight, but I do want to be here with you guys for a little while. So get involved as much as you can in the chat. Obviously, if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe. That would be massively, massively appreciated. Hit the like button for me as well. It would be fantastic if you could do that. Really helps me out, spreading these streams out to more people. And of course, if I don't notice your chat message, even though it's unlikely as I'm here by myself, but if you want to support me, if you want to become a member of the channel, there's a link down to that in the description, or a button underneath if you're on desktop, or if you want to use the super chat function, of course, I'd massively appreciate that. And of course, read out your chat. Your super chat message, and we will discuss whatever you put into that. But let's get into the team. Obviously, this was our team in possession, out of possession. Obviously, Veiga shifting into right back. Veiga to left back. Disasi shifts over to right back. Dewsbury-Hall drops next to Casadei to form kind of a 4-2-3-1, maybe a 4-3-3-ish, although I wouldn't say. I feel it came deep enough to form a midfield 3, if I'm being honest. So I would say it was that. Let me get to Philip Jørgensen. I guess let me bring up the other screen again so we can look at the stats of these players. I mean, to be honest, when you look at the lineup sheet from here, and obviously all the ratings that FotMob give out, obviously not Jurgensen's fault, but Jurgensen and Casaray are the only ones with not green ratings. So, pick up them. Pick up Renato Veiga, my guy, by the way. What a goat. Oh, I love that Disasi officially got given the assist because obviously the opponent did touch the ball before Neto's goal. So I thought maybe they wouldn't give it as the assist, but they did. So that's nice. That is nice. Jurgensen, he made one save. I think that's a bit harsh. I don't think you can do anything about the goals. Okay, every ground pass was successful. You played 3 long balls. One of them was successful. The others 2 weren't. Does anyone think he should have been better for any of the goals? Because I personally don't think so. Tim Afola says, I swear I haven't seen Chelsea score this many goals ever. I assume you mean just recently. And the stat actually is, I'm not sure if everybody saw this or heard about this, but let me bring it up for you because we are scoring a hell of a lot. We are. Let me just find it. Who was our man of the match? Definitely Veiga. I don't think anyone doubts that. I should have given you a poll, but I didn't quite get to it. Where is that other thing? I assume what I'm going to show you now was after we made it 4, not beforehand. So here's a stat for you guys. I'm not sure if you saw it or not, but in terms of Tim Afola saying, I swear I've never seen Chelsea score this many goals. Chelsea have scored 17 goals in their last 5 matches in all competitions. 17 goals in 5 matches. That's pretty good going, is it not? If you ask me, it bloody is. Do you know what I mean? It is pretty good going. But to go back to I guess our player ratings, Jurgensen, I've seen someone in the chat say 7. JC did what he could. 5 for Jurgensen. He was pretty good under pressure too. He was, to be fair. No chance to save these goals. I agree. He was just whatever, in my opinion. 5 for me. Casaray is our future. I love his work rate and his one touch. Keep on good job. I love the positivity about Casaray. Honestly, I love it. Big up my chat. I will give Jurgensen a simple 6. I've seen a few 7s and a few 5s in the chat. Might have been the same people, to be fair. But somewhere in between. He couldn't do anything about the goals he conceded. Did a good job otherwise, but not enough to push his rating above a 6, in my opinion. So a simple 6 it shall be. And we move on to the first of our kind of 3, but also 2 plus a right back centre backs. I move over to the FotMob sheet again, so we can actually look at some stats. I open up Tosin. He played 90 minutes, so good job there. No, let me be serious. Bloody hell, 145 passes he attempted. Obviously, he succeeded 140. Bloody hell. What is the... Sorry. Remember, guys, when Jorginho... Was it on the Sarri? Or was it on the Tuchel? I think it might have been on the Tuchel, actually. When Jorginho broke the most passes in a Premier League game record. I don't think it was anywhere near 140. Now, obviously, this is Conference League against a lesser team, but 140 successful passes in a game is mental. He's better than Sanchez to me. He certainly makes less mistakes, that's for sure. 4 for Tosin. What the heck was he doing when we conceded the second goal? Maybe I'll need to watch that second goal back. What did Tosin? Can you maybe elaborate it for me, JC, exactly what you felt Tosin did so wrong on the second goal? Because I certainly felt Badiashile did the bigger mistake here. Than Tosin did. And someone just ran into the gap between Tosin and Badiashile. But if Tosin covers that gap, there's another bigger gap behind him that they might exploit. So I think it maybe is a bit easy to just blame Tosin super hard. But yeah, JP also says, probably 4.5, 5 for me. Wasn't impressed with the defending much today. Neither was I. If we look at some more of the stats, shooting, okay, I'm not going to blame that. I'm surprised that he supposedly only attempted 3 long balls because I felt all I saw in the first half was Tosin attempting unsuccessful long balls, but maybe that was more my perception than reality. 2 out of 2 tackles, all right. 2 out of 2 ground duels, 2 out of 2 aerial duels. So those things don't look bad. I'll give him a 5. Jack don't know ball. All right. Bit harsh, mate. The C's, Tosin, Badiashile 4. You would just give all of them a 4. I agree. He was the best of the 3. To be fair, though, good old Axel Disasi got himself an assist today. So, can't be too mad at him either. I'll give Tosin a 5. I think some of you guys have been a bit harsh. But then again, usually when I have guests on, and they often raise my ratings, and then the chat says we give too low ratings. So obviously, I guess now that I don't have guests to upvote me, I only have to chat to probably convince me into rating them down. So here you are. But let me see if JC has elaborated yet. I'll give you another moment. Maybe you're typing it out at the moment, JC. Dawson says 6 for you. All right, fair dues. Fatutu, sorry. How did a player like Badiashile ended up as a professional footballer? Slow, sluggish, hesitate 99% of the time. Yeah, I mean, we'll get to Badiashile in a second. I'm just waiting for if maybe JC explains what exactly he felt Tosin did wrong for the second goal. But if we're speaking about Badiashile, it's weird, isn't it? Like, because he looked so strong. I'm not sure if everybody agrees, but I think everybody agrees with that. He was one of our best players in that kind of Potter Lampard second half of that season after we signed him. He was so good in that period, like really so good. And since then, I mean, last season was kind of on and off, but especially second half of the season, he looked so poor whenever he got to play. It was kind of crazy. Sounds like a caught out of possession for me too much. I mean, yeah, but that's what happens when you play a centre back and right back, innit? So, like, I don't want to be too harsh, if that makes sense. I don't want to be too harsh. And for the first goal too, where were our defenders? Oh yeah, where are the defenders for the first goal? That is a serious question. Serious question. JC didn't necessarily elaborate more on Tosin, but so we'll just move on to Badiashile. Rex says there's still a play in Badiashile. He actually had some good moments today, but the big mistakes will tell the story today. Did he have that many good moments? I mean, maybe some decent. I don't know. Maybe. I'll bring up the FOTMob sheet and we'll look at the stats for Badiashile as well, of course. Let's open them up. I mean, his rating is higher than Tosin's, to be fair. Bloody hell, he had even more passes than Tosin. I am genuinely blown away. 159 completed passes in the game. But he still missed 10 passes, which is kind of crazy. Okay, 4 of them were long balls. But still, that tells you he missed 5 balls on the ground. Misplaced them. Should be better. Also, the defending for the second goal, absolutely terrible. Ground duels 0 out of 1, aerials 1 out of 2. How's that happened then? How does he have such a much higher, 0.7 higher rating than Tosin on it? I don't understand. Is it just the passing? I mean, I guess he nearly scored. He should have scored as well. Really, it was kind of a howler that he didn't. I forgot about that. What are we giving by the issue? I don't want to be too harsh and go too crazy. Do you know what I mean? In terms of like super low ratings. But let me see. Wait, hold up. Since Disasi was running inside the box, Tosin should have covered the other attacker instead of just running by. I mean, I don't fully disagree. I mean, most of our passes were between our 3 centre-backs. True, of course. But that's just what happens when your opponent sits deep. I don't think that's what to criticize our players for. I give Badiashile a 4. I think if I go lower, that's a bit harsh because sure, he had a couple of bad moments. One of them led to the goal, obviously, but that was at 4-1. And he had a kind of double mistake where he first passed it to the opponent, then got the ball back, and then kind of sillily passed it out for a corner. Yeah, I think a 4 in total is fine. Would people agree with the 4? Do you think I'm too nice by giving him a 4? I mean, fire readiness as 5. We are one good goalkeeper away from being a strong team. Alisson next year. I mean, Alisson is who I signed on career mode. I can't lie. First thing I did, Sanchez out the door. I mean, Fatutu is saying Badiashile 3.5, even if you misspelt it. Most of Badiashile passes to Casadei. True. I think 7 is fair. I think 4 is fair. I can't even read. 5 for me, for Dawson. Fair dues, although you did go a bit higher for us anyway. You're very generous for giving a 4. Am I? I mean, maybe. Maybe I am too generous. Bro, his aggressiveness was good. Some good passes, just lapsing concentration. 5 for me. Okay. I mean, I don't disagree. But I think this is the kind of game that should be extremely easy for a centre-back. It should be. Because you see the entire game in front of you. You have the ball almost all of the time. All you really need to do is make sure you don't get balls played in behind you. And don't make mistakes. And obviously defend set pieces and everything. Once we couldn't defend a set piece, and once we couldn't defend one long ball on the side, and Badiashile got stretched and didn't know what to do. So yeah, but I hear you still, Mason. So I mean, some people saying 4. I'm saying some people saying 3, 3.5. I'm saying 4. You're saying 5. I don't think we're super far off each other, but I'm going to give him a 4. Man, what a player we've scouted in Veiga. I agree, Kushal. What a player he is. I mean, he's literally at fault for both goals. I'm not saying he's the only one at fault, but he still is at fault. I mean, I think for the first goal, that is a collective failure. I don't think you can blame one individual for that first goal that we conceded, if I'm honest. We got 9 diamonds in the first 11 and 1 in the second 11. All we need is a top goalkeeper. Yeah, that's true. But the Shield 10, he let Koval rest for the weekend. I mean, true. big up. But Cobble could have also just played, realistically. You're right. These sort of games should be bread and butter for centre-backs. Thank you for Tutu. Thank you. But yeah, we move on from Big Ben Badiashile and we move over to Axel Disasi. Now, alongside Badiashile missing an open goal, after Badiashile ever so slightly touched it, also, Disasi missed kind of an open goal, but I'll give Disasi the excuse that because Badiashile touched it, he has to react last minute, tried to kind of chest it in, but didn't get enough on it and didn't squeeze it over the line, unfortunately. But got himself a nice assist for Pedro Neto. Now, of course, Pedro Neto did most of the work, but it was still a good ball. So shout out to him for that. Obviously, a lot less passes because he was more the right back than he was one of the two centre backs. But still, 90% accuracy, I guess, not awful. In terms of long balls, 1 out of 3. All right, so that still tells me that he misplaced 7 passes on the ground, which is actually the same number as Badiashile. So, 0 out of 5 ground duels, bloody hell. Now, because 2 reasons now, and we'll see whether you guys agree or disagree with me. I will open up the ratings sheet again. I will give him a 5. And I know that's high in comparison to maybe Tosin because he wasn't as good. And especially the kind of 0 out of 5 ground duels stat is not great. But 2 reasons. Number 1, he got an assist, which I think deserves credit. And number 2, he's a centre-back playing right-back. Look at how it was against Bournemouth. Compared to that, he was much better today. Obviously, much worse team. But still, he was better than that. So, I think they're slightly playing out of position. I know in this on-the-ball sheet, and we had a lot of possession, you won't see that. But in his defensive duties, once we're seriously defending, then in those moments, he's acting as a right back, not as a centre back. And you just notice that. I would just keep it as simple as that. But hey, obviously, everybody will have their own thoughts on that. Why didn't no one tell me that? I'm so scrolled down so far. Since you hate the word I use, I'll just say you got did it. Yeah, I do love that. I do. Well, I don't love that, but I prefer the joke. Since you hate the word I use, I'll just say he got diddied by their number 3. He did get diddied by their number 3. I just think he had more work to do. We didn't really want to use Disasi down the right. Tosin was meh, not that great for me. Dewsbury-Hall on the right, too much imbalance. Not impressed. Thankful for the dub. I mean, I'm not impressed by Dewsbury-Hall either. But honestly, I think until Dewsbury-Hall scores about 50 goals, I'll probably never be impressed by him, if I'm honest. But I do agree. Also, a little bit for Dewsbury-Hall, obviously, in terms of when he's attacking, probably helped him to be off that side because it favoured his left foot. But in terms of providing balance, he probably made him struggle a little bit more. The fact that he was off the half right. But yeah, Dawson is saying 5.5. Rex saying the assist was cold. I can hear that getting a +1 for that. Appreciate it. Hopefully, I'll make it home to catch the show live. See you in half an hour, man. Hey, Mason, appreciate you. Have a safe trip home. Are you going home from the game or are you going home from somewhere else? You probably aren't seeing that anymore, so who cares? For 2-2, Disasi's playing out of position. He got an assist. He made forward passes compared to Badiashile. Disasi 5.5. Fair dues to Susu. For 2-2, I don't know how I said your name so wrong. Taiwu saying, shout out, Laurenz. First time catching the live. 7:30 a.m. here in Australia. We usually have to watch the games at 2 a.m. here. First of all, my guy, thank you very much for tuning in from Australia. I hope all is well when down under. I mean, I could try to do an accent, but first of all, I just insult you. And second of all, I'm not very good at accents, in particular as English isn't my first language. So, appreciate you for tuning in. Good morning to you. Have a great day. But see, there is one benefit to the times that you have to watch these games because I'm now going to bed after this, right? You are waking up, whether you watch the game or see it on your phone, you're like, oh, we won 4-2. Great day. Do you know what I mean? So you have a good start to the day. So I guess that is a positive. It's currently 3:05 a.m. here. Are you from India? Are you from India or somewhere in that area? Let me know. H says, Disasi was good for me. Good ball for Neto as well. Quietly went about his job and all the best. Genk attacks and goals were off our left-hand side, which shows he kept the right hand locked. Honestly, 5 for me. I mean, I agree with the 5, but I'm not sure if I necessarily agree with all your words. Because he did literally lose 5 ground duels on his right-hand side. But yeah. Bobby says, apart from the goal, not sure Dewsbury-Hall was controlling the midfield like he should against a team like Genk. Fair. But obviously he was also paired with Casadei, who Casadei was decent, but not particularly experienced. Them together, if they were played together. So, India. See? Knowledge. Was that Vega's average? What was average? Was that it? I can't read. Was that Vega's average position? I felt like he played more of a traditional left-back role. See, well, now that you say it, why don't we look at it? That's how I certainly felt that we kind of lined it up. Let me just find it. No, I'm not. Where is it? Too many games on today. Conference League. Where is the Chelsea game? Hello. I found it now. I'll share it with you in a second. Just share my screen. I'm just going to bring up the average positions. I mean, you do make a bit of a case. Let me shift it round. And show you this screen. So this is the official average positions. You can kind of see the back three there. And then maybe it's just a bit more of a midfield three and then a three in front of them. Maybe I should shift it around a bit. Maybe that would be more fair. I don't know how Neto got the average position up here. I don't know how that's happened. But yeah, maybe it was more of a midfield three. Then it was a midfield two with Veiga coming so narrow. Maybe you have a fair point, Bobby. Maybe you have a fair point. Let me shift it back to the other screen and shift it around so it's a bit more accurate. You know the reason why I didn't do that? Because I felt Dewsbury-Hall was very attacking at times. And yeah, well, to make that happen, I felt it had to be like that. But this is probably a bit more accurate, if we're being completely honest. I guess one was like here and he was a bit more attacking. It doesn't look so pretty now. It's not like particularly symmetrical because Veiga wasn't as attacking as Dewsbury-Hall. But regardless of any of that, we now get to talk about Renato Veiga. And my God, was he good. I remember when we signed Veiga, someone tweeted his position is left back, centre back, DM, centre mid, and I just laughed. I laughed too. And now we watch it and we're like, it's spot on. That's literally him. It's absolutely unbelievable. To be fair, Jules, he lost one off the left. They were, when he was more in the midfield, up the pitch and covering for Badiashile. Disasi was never covering for Badiashile. How on earth would that work, mate? He got beaten and Disasi had to try and cover for him. I don't know, man. But fair. Our scouting is underrated. What a signing this guy is. Future captain for sure. I mean, the scouting, yes. The scouting, I agree with. The decisions of these people in charge, I still don't want to suck them off because how many players have they scouted, thought you're good, and then decided not to sign him for weird reasons? You know what I mean? And then which ones did they decide to sign sometimes? Renato looks like a player, looks and plays like a proper Chelsea player, combative, rugged, looks ready every time, easily slot to the first team. Ooh, I'm not sure if he slots into the first team, purely because of who we have there in Cucurella, in Caicedo, in Enzo Fernandez as well. But on tonight and for these kind of games, my God, that goal, the header was class. I honestly expected even a bit more from the celebration, but I hope you enjoyed it. The assist, I'm not sure if it was an intentional assist to Nkunku, but hey, an assist all the matter, all the same. Passing accuracy strong as well. Only 8 misplaced passes is good. Out of the and bloody look at these stats, man. 2 out of 2 dribbles, 3 out of 3 long balls, 2 out of 3 tackles. Oh my God, he's getting a 10, guys. He's getting a 10. Look at these stats. It's unbelievable. 5 out of 5 ground duels, 1 out of 1 aerial duel, 2 out of 3 tackles, 3 out of 3 long balls, 2 out of 2 dribbles. My God, this is unbelievable. And the goal and an assist. This is outrageous. This is absolutely outrageous. Yeah, they did count that assist seemingly. So, yeah, honestly, these stats are utterly unbelievable. I thought that defender touched the ball. That's what I thought, but Disasi also got his assist, and the defender definitely also touched the ball before Neto shot. So maybe officially didn't count, and maybe just FOTMob gave it to them, but FOTMob is giving it to them. So, you know, I guess that is something. I highlight that again. I'm giving Renato a 10. I know a few people in the chat have said 8, 9. I mean, dub 10, 9 for me. Renato said at least 8.5. Honestly, after these stats, I think I can't give him anything other than a 10. What more do you want a player like Renato Veiga, who's playing left back, inverting into midfield, to do than to have all of his dribbles completed, all of his long balls completed, all of his ground duels completed, nearly all of his tackles completed, all of his aerial duels completed, and score and assist? I mean, I don't think you can do more. So he's having a 10 from me. Big up, Renato Veiga. You're my guy. You are my guy. What a player. Absolutely love him. Absolutely love him. We move on to Cesare Casadei. Honestly, I said this yesterday. Connor and Ollie outvoted me, and they were right. But I didn't think he would start. I really didn't, even though he did the press conference. But he did start. And fair play to him. He did okay, I suppose. 98% passing accuracy, only misplaced 2. He just kept it simple, and I love that. Like, I love that. Obviously, look at these stats. Shooting, 0 out of 1. Dribbles, 0 out of 2. Long balls, 0 out of 1. Tackles, just 0. Duels, 1 out of 6. So these numbers don't look great. He just kept it very, very simple. So he certainly needs to work on his defending. And there's a reason why when he was at Leicester last season, Maresca, funnily enough, used him in a much higher position usually and not in the 6th position. And I mean, The fact that Chukwuemeka was in the squad today and we had 2 goalies on the bench again is an absolute disgrace, quite frankly. And he certainly still needs to work on his defensive duties, but he just keeps it. He reminds you a bit of Jorginho, and that is so insulting. But I hear you. 6 or 7 for me was decent. Nothing stand out. 7 for me. I mean, I was thinking I just give him a 6, but after the stats I just read, I'm a little bit less sold on it. I'll still squeeze a 6 in, but I think you could very much make an argument to give him a 5 or a 5.5, if I'm being totally honest, because 1 out of 6 ground duels in this kind of game shouldn't be happening. It really shouldn't be happening. But everyone will have their own opinion on that, of course. Now, you know what? I'm giving him a 5.5. I'm sorry, guys. 5.5. It's not bad. Like, it's still only ever so slightly below average. Only ever so slightly. But I still think the stats aren't quite good enough. Don't other people think that too? I don't know, man. I'm waiting for a couple of messages. He ain't even a natural DM. I mean, that is, I guess, true. Maybe that is a point, but seemingly this is going to be the only position he's going to play for us. Do you know what I mean? So, how many excuses can I give him? Casadei is 2, is 6. I'm not sure what you mean. Not bad, but nothing extraordinary. Passes too much backwards. I mean, too much. I honestly think that's kind of his instruction. Maybe it's not fully the instruction, but certainly himself. He'd rather just keep it simple, let the better players around him do the difficult work, and he not make a mistake, which I get as well. In his position and his role, I think that's understandable to some extent. I would argue, at least. I'll say 5.5. Sorry, guys, I have to stick to my guns because, yeah. Now I'll change my mind. Just saying how I'll stick to my guns. I'll give him that 6. Have that 6, mate. Have it. Do you know what I mean? When we signed him, I was like, mate, this guy had not even played a professional game of football, and we paid 19 million euros, so I was annoyed. But he's doing okay. He's doing okay. At the moment, so 5.5 is okay for him as well. Let me bring up the next screen and we look at Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. Got his first Chelsea goal today. Should have had another, if we're being honest, in the first half. He's 26 by now, by the way. He's old. Still no idea how and why we signed him. But he did okay today. You know? No, he did good today. 62 out of 68 passes. Scored himself a goal as well. Okay, the shots, 3 out of 3 dribbles is strong. 3 out of 3 long balls is really strong. 1 out of 2 tackles is good. 6 out of 8 ground duels is surprisingly good. All I remember was one duel where he basically didn't even get into. I thought it was a bit of an embarrassing attempt of a tackle. But these stats look strong. Ladies and gentlemen, put it in the chat. What rating would you give Dewsbury-Hall today? Interesting. I feel Darton, I'm sometimes confused by your opinions. Look, so limited as a player, 6 for me. Like, I really don't rate Dewsbury-Hall, but I think giving him a 6 today is harsh. What did the other people think in the chat? I hope you guys are still involved. Get involved. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued what everybody else has to say because it surprises me a little bit. A 6. Hard worker, but his lack of tactical ability is showing. I agree, but didn't you guys also feel, because I felt that, and I'm trying to be positive here because I don't just want to sit here and slate him and just purely have an agenda against him the whole time. I thought, in particular, after he finally got his goal, he looked like a different player. And maybe we have to give these players that kind of credit, I guess, or let him off a little bit for that, because it's a lot of pressure, you know, coming, people like me being critical of him, plenty of others being critical of him as well. Obviously, leaving his boyhood club where he was kind of the main man, the star man. They also got promoted, so he could have just stayed with them to be back in the Prem. But he joined us. And I understand why needing that first goal helps let alleviate some pressure. So I will agree with what JC said, and I will give him a 7 because of the goal. I was maybe considering a 7.5, but I think that would be pushing it. So I'll give him a 7. I think he did good. The goal was decent. The shot not long after was decent. The stats are good. So I think a 7. I think a 7 is reasonable. Let's do the 2 wingers first, shall we? Mikhailo Mudryk. Everybody in the chat, even earlier in the stream, was very, very happy with Mudryk today. So I'm happy to see that. Taiwu says that dribble and pass after the goal deserves a 7. No, only if he got the assist for that. Yeah, if only he did. That would have been nice. The most pointless signing this summer. Yeah, no, he was. Absolutely. Maybe Felix, to be honest. For 2-2, Dewsbury-Hall, 6.5. Squad player at best for now. To me, he's only here because Enzo Maresca wants him. See, for me, he is only here because the only reason Leicester lets us have Maresca is if we bought a player from them who's homegrown, so they get pure profit. That's what I think happened. But there's no proof for that. So for now, this is just speculation and my opinion. So let me hop over to FOTMob once again and close Dewsbury-Hall and open Hello Mudryk. Got himself an assist. Got the assist for the opening goal. A good goal as well. A good assist as well. Nice cross to Renato Veiga. Obviously, Veiga still had a lot to do with that cross, but still did a good job. Not 22 out of 29 passes. It's nice. He kept the ball well. Okay, 1 out of 5 dribbles. I would still like that to be a bit higher, but 2 out of 3 crosses is good. 2 out of 2 long balls is good. 1 out of 1 tackles. Okay, 3 out of 9 ground duels should be a bit better, but obviously for wingers, it's always a bit different. I'll give Mudryk. What are we feeling today, chat? 8. What the hell? That's higher than I thought. I was going to give him a 7. I was already thinking me saying 7, people would be mad at me for going too high. Do you not think I'm going too high? Clearly not. So that's positive. I appreciate that. If you don't think that is dramatically too high, guys. But yeah, put it in the chat what rating you would give Mykhailo Mudryk today. I was pretty happy with him overall. Like I say, I was pretty happy with him. And I think if we give him a 7, that's fair. Just to touch on it a bit more, he just looked a bit more confident. He just looked a bit more what I want to see from him. He was looking for passes, he was looking for through balls, he was looking for crosses. He was doing good things. For 2-2 saying Mudryk was sharp today, had an assist, made sensible decisions most of the time. 7 for Misha. 7.5 for JC. His speed is there to see again for the first time in a while. He also doesn't receive the ball like a rubber and bounce today. First, Bobby. Hello, Bobby. I haven't seen you in a minute. I hope you're well, my friend. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing good. 6.5 from you. Like I say, I would say 7, but we have a 6.5 in the chat. We have a 7.5 in the chat. We have 7s in the chat, an 8 in the chat. So, clearly a little bit split, but all split in positive. So I like that. Big up, Mykhailo, for that. I appreciate you. You've done well. You've done good. You've done well. I like it. I absolutely do like it. What am I seeing? We don't have 2 teams. It's 1 team. Okay. That's what Maresca said post-game. So we don't have... Oh, yeah. Fair enough. Anybody else? Busy, bro. Kids, cheers. Yeah, no, appreciate it, mate. Appreciate it. Hope they're well. Hope everybody and everything is doing well. But yeah, anything else that we should really discuss about Mykhailo Mudryk? I'm not sure. I just thought he had a decent game today. Also, I would have... I mean, I don't know how everybody else feels about this, but I personally I would sometimes want him to shoot a bit more. And I know a lot of the times his shots going to Rose Ed, and he's tried shooting quite often over the last 2 years or year and a half. And it's not often being great, but I still very much believe in the kid's shooting. I see him in training. Technique is what matters in shooting, not whether it works in games. You can see whether a person can shoot or not also in training, and he can. So I want him to just keep trying, because eventually it will go in. Once it goes in, they won't go Rose Ed anymore. No one will moan at him for trying anymore. It's just better. He just needs one to go in. And one day, I'm telling you, I just truly hope to God this still happens to Chelsea and he isn't sold before that. But one day he will rattle one into that top corner. He will absolutely rattle it. And I cannot wait for that day. I cannot wait for that day. But I also understand why he just wants to keep it simple. Doesn't want the criticism, doesn't want the groan. So, I get it. But he's doing all right. He's doing all right. So shout out you, good old Mykhailo. See, guys, what I would love? If I could just have, because like this, the other screen is too small. Why can't we have a bit of a middle ground? Why? Please, StreamYard, allow me a middle ground. What if I press this button? Oh, then I'm just weirdly in the corner. We don't want that, do we? I mean, I could do custom layouts, but they're all not ideal, unfortunately. I mean, if I do this, it's way too small. Like this, you can't see me at all anymore. So we're going to have to go with this. Could do this as well, but this is quite unuseful. I mean, can you guys still see the ratings like this? Is this enough for you to see? Do I need to just zoom in on each one a bit more then? If I zoom in and I go like this, I mean, that could be okay. Let me know what you think. If you prefer it like the other way around, or if this is good for you or not. Let me know. I mean, I love you, JC, but just saying yep is a bit unuseful, because obviously you're like a minute behind me. So I'm seeing your response a little while after you actually said it. I mean, tiny. So is it better the way it is now? Or shall I just leave it the way we did it the whole time? But anyways, I think that's enough chat about Mykhailo Mudryk. For now, I will just scroll over here and go to Pedro Neto on this side. Got himself a goal. And I'm happy. Now, obviously, he already scored against Barrow in the week. Now I definitely need to go to the other thing because I'm going back to FOTMob to look at the stats for Pedro Neto. Got himself a goal, like I say, already scored against Barrow, obviously, but I thought he had a better game today. I thought he had a better game. I thought he looked lively. I thought he should have had an assist as well. That was his peach of a cross that Badiashile and Disasi both failed to poke over the line. And yeah, I thought he was okay. Only misplaced one pass. That's impressive, actually. Bloody hell, fair play. 2 out of 5 dribbles, just one better than Mudryk, but still 2 out of 8 crosses. He crosses a lot, and I do like that. So, I guess fair dues. I'm surprised that he supposedly hasn't won a tackle. 3 out of 7 ground duels. He tracks back a lot and he works very hard. I like that about him. And he's also given an interview where he was talking about how being at Chelsea, being in a tougher environment with like more competition around him, makes him work harder, which I love. Which I do love, I gotta say. Can't complain about that. But then again, that's kind of the whole point, isn't it? That is kind of the whole point of being at a better team. I'll probably give him a 7 as well. I think overall he was maybe ever so slightly not as good as Mudryk, but he scored a goal, which is obviously a little bit more important or a little bit bigger, if you want, than an assist, I guess. And he was very active and trying very hard. So I think 7 is fair. But I also hear what Fatutu is saying here, 6.5, too quiet in first half, came out in the second half with more fight. I kind of agree with that. But yeah, I still give him a 7. Maybe I'm being a bit nice. Neto, please, no short corners. Yeah, I mean, the short corners didn't work that well. But then again, we're just not very good at winning headers in the box. I know Veiga scored from a header. But my God, the amount of times we have big, lumpy guys in the box and we still don't get anyone near a cross, it's just poor. It's just poor. But yeah, I don't really know what else I could or should say about Pedro Neto, if I'm being perfectly honest. I mean, let's have this conversation quickly. Do you guys think he did enough today to warrant potentially starting at right wing over Madueke against Nottingham Forest on Sunday? Do you think he's done enough to warrant that? I would probably argue no. I mean, and not because it wasn't good, but I don't think he did enough to take Madueke out of the Prem team. Yeah, Dawson agrees. So I'm not saying that means now this is accurate, but I'm happy one person agrees. He is Portuguese, right? Yes, Pedro Neto is Portuguese. That is correct. Yeah. I honestly, I don't think he really did enough. I need to just... Yeah, I want a bit more. Let's obviously international break after Forest. Let's go into the Forest game with the same team after Forest against Liverpool. We can think and think about it again and debate it again. But for now, this is what I would go with. We move on higher up the pitch to João Felix. Honestly, unsure what I made of him. I will open the stats and we'll look at those, see if that helps us get a bit of a broader and better picture. We will see. Oh, I was wondering what language they use when he and Felix took corners. Just curious. Well, Portuguese. Felix should not get anything over 5. Wrong decision in everything he did today. We'll look into it. Passing accuracy is okay. 88%, 38 of 43. It's good. 1 shot on target. Okay, fair enough. 2 out of 6 dribbles. I mean, he still completed 2, I guess, so that's okay. 1 out of 4 crosses. 0 out of 1 tackles. 6 out of 11 ground duels is much better than Mudryk and Neto were. So that's something. But yeah, I don't think his decision-making was great. There was nice moments. Like João Felix is just a very, very good footballer. Let me see if there's a dispossessed stat already. Well, supposedly he got dispossessed 0 times, so he can't have given the ball away too many times, like Dawson said. But I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that's the stats don't necessarily support that. Fatutu says, no only problem is attitude, necessarily ability. No only need to sit on the bench for 1 or 2 games so he can learn. Nah, I think this is harsh on Noni at the moment. He would have had an assist for Sancho if he wasn't ever so slightly offside. He got a bit unlucky with the touch in the moment where he shot where everybody's having a go at him for being selfish. Yeah, he should have just scored. I don't think shooting was necessarily the wrong decision. But I kind of see what Florin is saying. What does everybody else think for João Felix's rating? Because Florin obviously is saying Felix should not get anything over at 5. Wrong decision, everything he did today. It wasn't amazing, was it? Like, let's be real, it wasn't amazing. They want to play tonight. It doesn't mean they won't play in the next game. Yeah, they're just constantly going on about things. The Gent fans, by the way, I could bring this up after. This is weird. This is weird. What I'm going to show it to you in a minute. But yes, yeah, Felix Dawson says 5.5, most average player today. I mean, I guess. I know Florian said anything over a 5. No, I'll give him a 5.5. I think he was ever so slightly below average. I don't think he was poor as such. I don't think he was good, but I don't think he was poor, if that makes sense. Because I think people just sometimes forget that it's not easy being the central guy to make things happen, especially in the first half when Dewsbury-Hall wasn't really helping him. So Felix had that job on his own. And against a very deep block, this is not an easy job. This is not, and sometimes I think people forget that a little bit. But still, a game difficult to really judge what to make of João Felix. I agree with that part. Not really poor. Yeah, there you go. I bring up Christopher Nkunku. Obviously, got himself another goal, which is good. But otherwise, did nothing. You can see it. He played 80 minutes. He only played 10 passes, only 6 of them accurate. This was his only shot. He had one dribble that he messed up. He could have started one nice counter attack not long after he actually scored. I messed that up as well. Because he scored, I'd give him a 6.5. And because he obviously didn't see much of the ball, as you could see by the numbers. So I don't think it's purely like he wasn't that good. I think there's a lot of, well, how do I best say it? Like, just he wasn't that involved. It happens. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think we can call him bad for that. And he still got a goal at the end of the day. Let me just look at all the subs that we made today. Did we only make 2 subs? We literally only made 2 subs. So those 2 subs were Tyreek George coming on for Pedro Neto. Shame that Keanu Dyer didn't come on in midfield. I think he deserved it. Because obviously Josh Aschenpong unfortunately seems like he's injured. So that's why he wasn't in the squad today. So we only saw Hugh and George come off the bench. I'll be honest, even though they both played, and they only played 10 minutes either. So I don't remember anything from either of them, if I'm being totally honest. If you can hear something meowing in the background, that is my cat. I don't know what he's trying to tell me, what he's asking, but I will deal with him when we're at the bloody hell. Oi! Oi! Sorry that you need to witness me talking to my cat, but yeah. Hugh didn't even have a successful one. He had 2 touches and no pass. Tyreek George had 6 passes, 6 of them accurate, 3 dribbles, and he attempted 3 dribbles and succeeded 3 dribbles, and he had 4 ground duels and won 3 of them. Tyreek George, well done you. Well done you. And I guess in terms of the ratings, we'll finish it off with Enzo Maresca. Where do I put him? Let's put him down here with Jørgensen. Let's put him down here with Jørgensen. We'll do that. And then I have something to show you that unfortunately kicked off at the game tonight. But we'll look into that. You had a shot. So 5 for me. Fair enough. You love cats. Love that for you. Love that for you. I love cats too, to be fair. So big up him. But yeah, Maresca, what do I give him today? He said post-match, like I say, it's not necessarily one team, not necessarily 2. We have one team. It's not just one, 2 separate teams, one for midweek, one for the weekend. That's not how it is. He said the players that play tonight doesn't necessarily mean they won't play on the weekend. So I guess that is positive, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, he made 11 changes. I wasn't sure whether making all 11 changes was the best idea. In terms of Gusto, in terms of potentially Caicedo instead of Casadei, or just not including Lavia in the Conference League squad, which I still think was a bad idea. Obviously, we can for the knockouts, but for now, I'm like, so when's he going to play until Christmas? Is he just going to come off the bench in a Prem and start a couple of league games? Also, our next league game is against a Prem team, so will he even start that one? I don't know. But Maresca, I mean, he didn't make a lot of subs. He made them very late, even though we were comfortably ahead. 7.5. I would give him an 8 if he made the subs a bit earlier, but I'm not giving him too high for beating Gent. But still, good form, doing well. Giving everybody rest, giving everybody chances, so doing a good job. I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to overdo it. I sit here for too long. Chelsea says 7/7.5. Fair. For 2-2, 7.5. Not the coach's fault how we conceded. I mean, I will say the first goal is not the head coach's fault, But you know, this fancy as set piece coach that we have from Brentford, I forget his name again, who there was a lot of praise for him after the last game. What on earth was that? Was that defending for the first goal? It was utterly diabolical. It was like a school team. Back from work, fair ratings, mate. Very happy with Mudryk today, must say. Hey, I appreciate. You're back from work. All right. I wasn't sure. Are you going home from the game or are you going home from whatever? So yeah, I'm glad that you think the ratings are fair. And for Enzo Maresca, I think a 7 is also reasonable. Now, something I need to bring up now, and let me just find it before I actually show you. Sorry, I just opened my Twitter notifications and I was like, what is happening? So let me show you this first and foremost. Okay, so let me share that with you. So what happened during the game, according to CFC Daily, who I think was at the game, he said, all kicked off in the shed end tonight, seats thrown from the away end into the Chelsea fans and onto the pitch, bottles thrown and the Chelsea banner ripped down from Gent fans. I asked him if everyone was all right, and he replied with, yeah, police came in and the Gent fans soon shit themselves. So that is obviously good to see. And now then he actually has a video. I'm going to turn the sound off. But yeah, this is the Bobby Tamling banner that we have. They scored 202 goals. Somehow they ripped it down, threw it down into the lower end, throwing beer. Hopefully it was beer, not piss. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, and obviously we're singing Who Are Ya? But yeah, a bunch of cretins. And hope you lose every game. Hope you lose every game, you bunch of little dickheads. And then they were flashing their phone lights after they scored. I loved how Stamford Bridge then took the piss out of them and did it as well. But also Chelsea, don't be surprised if Chelsea now, every time we score a goal in the night game, get a phone light torches out. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, how disrespectful. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the first goal was like a lapse of judgment from the players. It's true, but yeah. Servette was so glad to play again. Exactly, is what I'm saying. Servette are like, we're like bros now. They want to hang out with us, and Gent are doing this. Now, I'm not sure if Servette fans necessarily felt the same as the club did, because I'm sure Gent as a club, they were happy to be here today. But yeah, I thought that was a nice touch, the lights. But from Gent or from us, because I thought it was funny that we took the piss out of it. That's quite funny. I also think it's an okay thing to do, but I hope we don't just copy it now. Our Twitter, bro. Yeah, literally. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming to an end here. It's just me, as you can tell. Obviously, if you have questions, if you have topics that you want me to talk about, please bring them up. We can go through notifications as well. If there's anything interesting, I told you this. The ones who play tonight, it doesn't mean they won't play the next game. Maresca, we don't have 2 teams, it's 1 team. Dewsbury-Hall and Maresca, from the very first day, he was talking to us about culture and how he wants the players to represent the club. That's good. I'm not sure if he's talking about the first day at Leicester or the first day at Chelsea, but hey, he did his thing. So big up him, I suppose. One question, please. We can do some questions, guys. We can do some questions. If you have a few questions, things that you want us to talk about, do that. No, from us. When we scored, I didn't realize Gent did it. Oh, okay, yeah. No, I didn't mind it from us either. It looked quite cool when the camera actually showed it. But yeah, let's see how it goes. Maybe we keep doing it. The problem is it only works for night games, right? For day games, kind of dead. Is the problem between Bowley and Iqbali solved? I had nothing lately. See, JC, me and Pikes, obviously, I need to shout that out. That's an interesting question. Link to mine and Pice's podcast called Chelsea Unfiltered, both available on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Link to the latest episode, which came out on Tuesday, is down in the description below. So please go check that out. We talk obviously about Brighton 4, Chelsea 4, Brighton 2, the Cole Palmer show and everything else. Newest episode is on there. And we were considering, do we talk about the ownership situation? And Pice was like, and Pice is obviously the guy that knows more about these things than I do. He was like, well, I haven't heard anything. So there's nothing I can say, is what Pice told me. So I can't really tell you anything. All we know is they were sat together at West Ham, and they were sat together, I think it wasn't against Barrow. Or am I mixing things up now? And I think against Brighton, only Iqbali was there. But yeah, they were sat together for those other 2 games. So I don't really know. At the moment, I think they're just kind of like, I think everybody kind of just lost their minds a little bit, and then everybody started briefing, and then the media shit hit the fan, and then they were like, oh shit, this is giving us a really, 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 really bad look. And now they're kind of just trying to calm it down. I don't think the situation is solved. I think otherwise we would have had something. That's all I'm saying. Dawson asking, zonal marking or man marking. See, my opinion on this is that the best is doing a mix of both. Now, it's difficult to do a mix of both because that's how things start to get confusing, and you see players losing a man, and then it's like, okay, so now I lost my man, and now he's in the other guy's zones, and then it becomes a bit difficult. But I think in principle, a mix of the two, if you man mark the specific targets and specific danger men that the opponents have for set pieces, and then you zonal mark in and around the box, around the goal, I think that's smarter. But everybody will have their own opinion. Big up, bro. Keep doing your thing. I'll catch you next time. Take care. Hey, Mason, have a good one. Appreciate you tuning in. I'm going to wrap this one up in a second. Also, when is front shirt sponsor? We don't know anything about that either, other than we are supposedly in talks with Qatar Airways and a couple of other airlines as well, but nothing concrete as of now. I wouldn't say it got exaggerated by Twitter. I wouldn't say that. I think both sides of the camp, and by that I mean Bowley and Eghbali's camps, they exaggerated it because they are who fed the media, who then obviously reported it. So that's my opinion on that. But I understand that everybody will have a different opinion on this. But I think, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to wrap it up here, if I'm being perfectly honest, because I am tired. It's been a long day, and I've got other stuff to do. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very, very much for tuning in today. I appreciate you all. If you haven't already, chances are the ones of you that are here now are probably subscribed. But if you haven't, please do subscribe. That would be massively appreciated. Hit the like button as well. That helps me out a lot. Did I actually never press this button? Well, hopefully the thing did its thing on its own. But yeah, all of you, please, before you leave, if you haven't done that yet, please go down below and hit the like button for me. That would be massively appreciated. Like I said, one more time, check out mine and Pies' podcast, Chelsea Unfiltered. And yeah, thank you very, very much for tuning in. Up the Chelsea, upwards and onwards, and we will see you next time.